Well, if you've ever been in a car accident, once the shock wears off, you're usually asking yourself, what do I do next? So today, 5 mistakes to avoid following a crash. Mike Bertling is a partner at McClario, Helm, Bertling and Spiegel, and he joins us to help prepare in case we do find ourselves in that car crash. Good morning to you, Mike.
Well, good morning, Tiffany. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. I think, when you get in a car crash, all logic goes out the window. You're scared, you're in shock, you're nervous. And so we're going to break down these mistakes because I'm sure you see a lot of mistakes when people are in this situation, right?
Well, you're right. I mean, people come to me over the years and they've told me that when they have a car accident, first off, usually it's completely out of the blue. They don't even see it coming, and it's just a complete shock. So they are, as you said, shocked, nervous, scared, very emotional. So, and a lot of times they just want to leave the scene and just go if they're not badly hurt. They just want to get away from it. And that probably isn't the best thing to do. What you should probably do is do some smart things to protect yourself and protect those who might be with you at the time.
Absolutely. So we're going to break it down, and then I know we've got a little card that people can keep in their glove compartment box after this with these 5 things. So the first thing is talking about police. What should you or shouldn't you report?
Well, I think every automobile accident a person's involved in should be reported to the local police. There's a lot of reasons for that. First off, the police will come for the most part, and they will do a quick investigation, a brief investigation, and kind of determine what happened in the accident, who's at fault, and perhaps issue tickets. That's important because it does document what happened in case there's a dispute later on between the parties about who did what. So it's important to get the police there, and plus the police will gather information. They will get the other person's name, they will get insurance information, they will get witnesses information if you're not able because you're upset and worried about the situation. They'll take care of a lot of the brief investigation that could be important later if you do need to make a claim.
How about injuries? Because oftentimes right away you're injured, and other times that injury sort of sets in. So what do you say at the scene, and what do you tell healthcare providers?
That's a good question, because a lot of people, first off, in accidents, unless the injury is quite severe, they have a lot of adrenaline, and they're worked up. They're excited, and so a lot of times they're not feeling everything right away. And secondly, I think people don't want to accept the fact they're injured or don't want to be in an ambulance riding to a hospital, so they do tend to minimize whatever pains or problems they're having. I've had many clients over the years come in and say that they had pain, they had problems, but they just didn't want to talk about it, so they kept it to themselves, which probably is a mistake. Because first off, it's not good for you. You probably, or you might need treatment. And secondly, if there is a claim later, insurance companies will go back and say, well, you didn't complain to the police officer, so we don't think you were injured. And that can come back to haunt you later.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. What about gathering info? We often think about getting insurance cards from other drivers, but what about witnesses or other people who may be at the scene?
Right. That's always a good idea. It depends on the situation. A lot of times witnesses will stop, but they'll just leave and you won't be able to get their names. And don't get too worked up about it. You can only do what you can do. But if somebody is there and somebody's helpful and you have the ability, with a cell phone or whatever nowadays, to just jot down the information and get their names and contact information in case later there is a dispute about what happened or who caused the accident, so that person can become involved. But for the most part, if they stay around, law enforcement will get their names and contact information for you. But again, if somebody's there and they're talking to you, it's not a bad idea just to get that from them.
Is it a mistake not to take pictures?
I think it is. With cell phones, everybody's got them. It's so easy to take pictures of damage caused by the accident or the accident scene or how the cars are situated, positioned after the accident. And so, it's probably not a bad idea to take out your cell phone and take some pictures. You'd be surprised in cases how the damage to the vehicles really becomes too important, I believe, later on in a case, because an insurance company is going to take the position that unless there's a lot of twisted metal, a lot of bent frames, a lot of damage, a person couldn't be hurt. And so, driving away and not documenting damage on the other vehicle or damage on the other vehicles is probably a mistake. So, it takes some time, take some pictures. If you need them, great. If you don't, great. At least you've got them just in case.
Yeah, and sometimes you think when they take the car away at the scene, if you don't get those pictures, you may not see that car again as well. So what about insurance? What do we need to know, and what's a mistake if we aren't dealing correctly with insurance?
Yeah, I would recommend that a person report the accident to their insurance company right away. All that means is that you call up your agent and you tell your agent, hey, I was in an accident, what do I do? Your agent will then give you advice and tell you how to connect with the insurance company. Now, you're going to want to do that for the damage to the vehicle if you have collision coverage, just to start the process of making that claim. You may have the option of making a claim for your damage against the other driver's insurance, but there may be circumstances or situations, I should say, where you would prefer to make a claim against your insurance company. Typically, I should say, insurance companies will treat their own insureds a little more reasonable than another insurance company insuring the vehicle who caused the accident. So it might be smoother if you go through your own insurance company for the collision. The other thing is, insurance policies for the most part have what's called medical payment coverage on them. Your insurance policy on your vehicle has a medical payment provision. Now, it differs. It could be $2,000 or $1,000 or $10,000 or even more. But that's a provision that says that your insurance company will pay for some of your medical bills for injuries caused by that accident. So even though you might have health insurance, in addition to that, it's good to tell your insurance company about the accident because you may wish to access your medical payment coverage too.
That's great. That's wonderful information. I'm going to make sure everybody knows how to contact you because that's what comes next. Thanks so much, Mike.
All right, thank you very much.
Absolutely. McClario, Helm, Bertling, and Spiegel offers special guide, that 5 mistakes to avoid after a crash. You can download this guide, keep it with your insurance card or in your glove compartment box, and you can find the guide on their website. It's mcclario.com. For more information, just call them at the number on your screen, 262-251-4210, and also make sure that your college student packs this before they start. They can get a free financial and healthcare power of attorney with a family estate plan, or they can purchase it for just $100. That's more than half off. This offer runs through the end of August, so make sure you contact the law office with all those concerns and questions.